For 70 years, the border between Russia and China was a Cold War dead zone. 4,200 kilometers of barbed wire, armed guards, and silence. Two of the largest nuclear powers on Earth staring at each other across the frozen Amur River, with almost nothing moving between them. That same border is now the most active construction zone on the planet. In the last 2 years alone, Russia and China have launched more than 12 simultaneous mega-projects along their shared frontier. 3 new bridges across the Amur, a cross-border cable car, the first of its kind anywhere in the world. Brand new rail tunnels replacing infrastructure built in 1900. A second natural gas pipeline. Grain terminals, oil terminals, logistics hubs, special economic zones. Oil, gas, coal, wheat, soybeans, general cargo. Everything is now flowing across. The border that once divided 2 empires is now the pipeline connecting them. And what they are quietly building together is something the West never thought it would have to deal with: an Iron Curtain in reverse. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this stretch of frozen river is the most important border on Earth right now, and why every truck, every tanker, and every gas molecule crossing it is a quiet message aimed straight at Washington. Hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people. And subscribe so you do not miss the next one. 3 bridges in 3 years start at the eastern end. Until 2022, there was not a single permanent crossing of any kind between Russia and China along the entire Amur River. Then the Tongjiang rail bridge opened. It is the first railway bridge ever built between the 2 countries, with a maximum capacity of 20 million tons of cargo per year. It cut the transport distance for Chinese goods entering Russia by 1,500 kilometers. That is not a marginal improvement. That is a major rerouting of global supply chains. A few months later, the Blagoveshchensk highway bridge opened to freight. By July of 2025, over 170,000 vehicles had crossed it. Before this bridge, the only way between these 2 cities was a seasonal ferry in summer, an ice road in winter, and absolutely nothing during the spring and autumn freeze-thaw, when the river was neither solid enough to drive on nor liquid enough to sail. 2 cities staring at each other across the water are now functionally a single cross-border economic zone. And then a third. In October of 2025, both governments announced the Pashkovo-Jiayin Bridge, over 1 kilometer long, cutting through the most isolated stretch of Russia's far east. 3 new bridges across the same river, all within a few hundred kilometers of each other, all built or announced inside a 3-year window. That is not normal border infrastructure. That is a coordinated, full-spectrum push to turn a river barrier into a river highway. But the bridges are just the surface story. The tunnels older than the Soviet Union. Drop south from the Amur, and you hit Suifenhe, one of the oldest rail crossings on the border. The problem? The tunnels were built around 1900. They were narrow, slow, and crumbling. Trains had to crawl through at reduced speeds, choking the entire eastern rail corridor between the 2 countries. So China and Russia replaced them. Construction on a brand new 602-meter tunnel began in May of 2024. It was finished 1 year later. By September of 2025, the full upgrade was complete, and trains can now move through at 120 kilometers per hour. Roughly double the speed of the old line. When your rail crossings are older than the Soviet Union itself, replacing them is not maintenance. That is a complete rethinking of how fast goods can flow between 2 of the largest economies on Earth. A pipeline that cannot be blockaded. Now the energy backbone. The original Power of Siberia pipeline already pumps around 30 billion cubic meters of Russian natural gas into China every single year. But a second pipeline is now under construction. Called the Far Eastern Route, it runs from Russia's Sakhalin Island into northeast China. Gazprom says gas will start flowing in January of 2027, with capacity of up to 12 billion cubic meters per year. That brings the total pipeline capacity between the two countries to more than 40 billion cubic meters annually. And this is separate from the much-discussed Power of Siberia 2, which would add another 50 billion cubic meters on top. Here is the part that should really get your attention. Pipeline gas cannot be blockaded. It cannot be intercepted at sea. It cannot be sanctioned at a choke point like the Strait of Malacca, where most of the world's oil tanker traffic is one well-placed navy away from being shut off. Pipeline gas flows regardless of what happens in the South China Sea, regardless of what happens in the Persian Gulf, regardless of what happens in Washington. That is the entire point. The grain that used to feed Europe. While the pipelines move energy, an entirely separate build-out is moving food. At the Tongjiang crossing, Russia and China are building a 15 billion ruble grain terminal, roughly 160 million US dollars, designed specifically to handle Russian wheat, corn, and soybeans heading into China. Right next door, China's Xuanyuan company has been appointed contractor for a new cross-border oil and gas terminal at the same site. So you now have a single border point handling rail cargo, grain, oil, and gas all at once. That is not a border crossing anymore. That is a continental-scale choke point that nobody can bypass. Then there is Port Zarubino on Russia's Pacific coast. The Russian government has approved a massive expansion that includes a deep-water grain terminal capable of handling 33.5 million tons per year, loading ships up to 91,000 tons in capacity. Before this, Zarubino could only handle vessels around 3,000 to 5,000 tons, 33.5 million tons. That is not a regional facility. That is a continental-scale operation. Combined with the Tongjiang terminal, Russia is quietly rebuilding its entire agricultural export infrastructure to point east instead of west. The fields that used to feed Europe are being replumbed to feed Asia. An iron curtain in reverse. This is the part most analysts miss. The original Iron Curtain was about separation. Walls, fences, guard towers, all designed to keep people and goods from moving. What is happening on the Russia-China border is the exact opposite. 12 mega-projects in 2 years, 3 bridges, a cable car, new tunnels, a second gas pipeline, grain terminals, oil terminals, port expansions, special economic zones. Every single project engineered to move a specific commodity from one side to the other as efficiently as possible, with built-in redundancy so that no single choke point can disrupt the flow. This entire corridor is being designed to operate completely outside the shipping lanes, financial networks, and naval choke points that the West spent generations building and defending. No Suez Canal, no Strait of Malacca, no Western insurance, no dollar-denominated financing, just steel, gas, grain, and rail moving directly between two of the largest land powers on the planet. The Cold War, where border between Russia and China used to be a line you could not cross. Now it is the most expensive construction site on Earth, and every crane, every tunnel, every pipeline is pointing in one direction: east. If this video gave you a new way of looking at global trade, hit the like button and subscribe so you do not miss what we cover next. We will keep tracking how these new corridors develop and what they mean for the rest of the world. Drop a comment below. Do you think this new Russia-China corridor can actually replace Western-controlled trade routes? Or is the ocean still king?